This is InRetroSpect podcast. It's a monthly show about the video games. I know I said that last month, but I like consistency. If you want to hear last month's show, then go to retrospectpodcast.com. Joining me as we venture forth into the usual menagerie of meandering mediocreness is Peter the Killington Willington.
Hello-ington.
There's the Chris. Now, was he diarrhea or dysentery, Darby?
It was Derby dysentery.
It was Derby dysentery.
Hello.
Oh, he's got a bad case of the Frosty D's. It's Daniel Frost.
Hello there.
And bringing up the rear and coming back into the fold of the show, it's Tom Percival with the Percival Pox.
Hello there.
There he is. My name's Sam Turner. You'll have the Turner Terrors if you see me in the street.
If you turn around and see him in your room.
Well, that was kind of what the condition was. I must explain myself. As usual, I've been going down a bit of a board game fetish with my real life friends, of which everyone here by Percival is not one of them because you're just internet friends.
What?
Yep.
So we've been playing Pandemic.
Yeah, we have. It was really good. Well, actually, Chris played with us, didn't he?
Chris did play. Chris was real for that edition. And so the best way to play it was to name the 4 illnesses in the game. So I thought the best way to do it was to name them after yourself. So we had the Peter Killingtons, which was an Asian disease.
You were the first one to go.
Right, sure.
You were the first one to be cured. We had the Frosty D's, which was a European illness. Which was the symptoms were just extreme coldness.
No, it wasn't.
Was it not? What were the symptoms of Frosty D's?
It was that your balls turned blue and dropped off.
What was Peter's symptoms?
We never really worked out any.
Was it that you watched so many YouTube videos?
Yeah, that was it. You were addicted to social media and you forgot to feed yourself. That was it.
That was if you had the Peter Killingtons. Then racism was the other illness,
Which we cured.
Which we did cure because it is.
Oh, well done, guys.
A lot easier than people say.
And then for some of you this will be funny, for others not so much. But then there were the Lisa Sharts, which were rife in South America. But you'd be lucky to know that in the course of playing Pandemic, we cured all 4 of those conditions. Okay. And our victory was marked by the 4 illnesses in the next game being named after us, which hence is what the Turner Terrors was. And we decided that the Turner Terrors was a condition where I just stood at the end of your street and every day I just moved one step closer.
Oh, that's scary.
It's not so much an illness, is it?
Well,
it's more like a problematic community member.
It could be a mental illness.
I'll be promptly removed by an ASBO later on. But Pandemic is so much fun. Oh my God, it's so much fun.
I mean, we haven't actually beat it yet without cheating, but it is fun.
We didn't understand the rules the first time we played it, and hence we won.
No.
And then since we started playing it proper, No,
we've yet to have a good cohesive team, I think. I think that's been our major fault.
But we're playing tonight.
We are, and I'm very excited.
So the idea is that we'll get this podcast out of the way, and then we'll carry on playing Pandemic, which would be great. So coming up on the show, the usual stuff, including a returning item which is so vastly popular, which is Challenge Dan. That's coming back. Also, Chris has got his glitch of the month. I thought you'd be happy. And what else have we got? Oh, we'll be telling you all about Elsa's frozen brain surgery. Thanks, Dan. Thanks, Dan. And also a surprise game.
Thanks, Sam. I was putting forward Football Manager, so...
Another great game.
Can I just say, Chris and Pete both gave you the answer. And
technically, eventually Chris did. Originally, Chris kind of agreed with me, and then after Pete said his, Chris hopped over to the side of the fence. But you know what? I still stand by the fact that I'm willing to take that hit. Of the 4 games you gave me, Elsa's was the lesser of all the evils.
Really?
I don't know. I kind of wanted to play.
It was the worst game I've ever played.
If it wasn't all real games, I would have rather played the one we've chosen.
It was pretty bad, but we'll get to that after the bongs within Queen Elizabeth II Tower chime us in to... What's that face for, Chris? That's the name of the tower in which Big Ben is held.
Isn't it St. Stephen's Tower?
No,
Isn't it St. Elizabeth's Tower?
I think you'll find that it was renamed. She's not even a saint. I think you'll find that it was renamed. If someone's willing to search now, it was renamed not a few years ago to mark the Queen's birthday or something.
Tuba birthday.
Tuba birthday. It was...
Maybe we should just start bonging.
Impartial reporting. Partially formed headlines. This is Chris's Gaming News.
Grand Theft,
Now, can I just say that I saw Chris the other day. Went to go and watch Mad Max Fury Road, wearing the same clothes, and Chris said he's been working for 2 days on these headlines. Can I just say already, Chris? Marked improvement, sir. You're doing really well. Right? You're gonna keep it up, okay?
Reality check with a holodeck.
Yeah.
I'll take that. I'll take that.
When Steve met Alex.
Okay.
Right.
That's a Minecraft one.
Okay, well, good. There's always Minecraft news because it's the only game Dan plays, so you've got to be relevant to him.
Are you trying to seduce me, Mrs. Wavebird?
Awesome.
Much better.
This is Chris's Gaming News. So it's 4 headlines from the gaming month past, and we get to pick 2 of them and learn all about them. So Chris is very much relieved that his headlines weren't so poor this month. Percival, as a returning member, you get to pick a headline that you wish to hear more about.
Just because I think it was such a brilliant headline, Grand Theft Uh-oh?
I know what this is about.
Okay, what do you think it is?
I think that the BBC are being sued over, and this appeared in Chris's Gaming News last month, which you missed, Percival, but it's good that you missed it because you can catch up on InRetroSpectPodcast.com and through the iTunes feed. That this BBC movie that is being made starring the world's worst actor, Daniel Radcliffe, as Sam Hauser, he is awful. He's not,
Sam. You have a problem with him. You have an own personal issue with him.
Yeah.
He's not an awful.
Sam wished he could play Harry Potter when he was a kid.
Chris,
Sam dreamt of having
that role. Okay.
Sam, wasn't your student ID card or driving license vandalised by someone?
Can I just
Harry Potter? Do you remember that?
2 points here, Chris. 2 points. Right. First of all, somewhere there is a discarded young person's rail card on which my face was defaced to look like Harry Potter. It could not be cleaned. So for years since I left university, I had to show that to rail conductors up and down the country as me looking like Harry Potter. And I never understood it until now because my mum didn't let me read the Harry Potter books, which I am now reading now and in my Harry Potter-thon, how badly Daniel Radcliffe acts as Harry Potter, but now I understand that he was...
Have you seen all of the films?
No, but I've yet to read all the books.
So how many performances are you basing your opinion on?
5.
5.
Which
so you've
is
seen the
enough.
first 5 films?
No, the first 3 don't count because he was a child, and you can't blame child
Yeah,
actors.
but he played Nicholas Nickleby, so that's something.
Great.
He was also in The Woman in Black, wasn't he?
He was, and he was...
Well, he wasn't
That was
the Woman in
post-Potter.
Black.
That's why I said he was in The Woman in Black.
Oh, right.
That
Got
would
to
be
get
a
the
stretch.
job somehow.
But you do have a bit of an issue with Daniel Radcliffe, don't
Because
you,
he's
Sam?
awful.
Yeah.
But he's not the worst
He's
actor
not.
ever.
He's not. You give him a hard time.
Who is the worst actor
To me,
ever?
he seems like
Danny
a
Dyer.
swell guy.
No, hang on, right. We all know Danny Dyer is not the worst actor. He just won Best Actor at the Choice Soap Awards.
Well, what a prestigious event that is as well.
He's genuinely won a Best Actor. That's
For Mick Carter.
That is more officially than Daniel Radcliffe has ever won.
I'm sure he's probably won one of those Children's Choice Awards.
Children.
Yeah, they do it, like with the Nickelodeon, and then they put slime on you.
You probably has.
Moving on.
You've never seen that, Pete? You've never seen the Nickelodeon Kids Award where they basically just slime famous people from Marvel films? And The Rock.
No.
And David Beckham.
Was David Beckham slime?
Yeah, him.
I fear we're going off topic.
Anyway, so the news story is Rockstar are suing the BBC because they fear that their trademarks will be misused in their upcoming docu-film about how Rockstar was sued by an American guy for violence in video games. Am I correct, Chris Darby?
You are 100% correct, Sam. And just to clarify, Pete, you asked last month's show who Daniel Radcliffe was playing. He was supposed to be playing Sam Houser, and Bill Paxton will play Jack Thompson.
Oh, Jack Thompson.
Yeah, so that'll be very interesting. It's a tricky thing at the moment because, as we said last month, that really the BBC should have kind of carte blanche because they got the rights to the book that was written about that process that wasn't just written really quickly. It was written over 10 years and was concerned meticulous research, lots of interviews with the company and stuff.
But it'll be image rights, surely.
That's exactly what it is. So I don't know how the BBC will push forward this. I'm really curious to kind of see what this dramatisation would look like. I don't know if it's going to make me cringe or make me really, really interested in the kind of the process in which this game was made. I don't think it's going to be so much a behind the scenes. It is literally about this legal dispute. It's kind of a Frost-Nixon kind of Houser-Thompson kind of film, I think.
But surely, because Thompson got disbarred, and so it's not really Frost-Nixon, is it? It's just one lunatic, essentially, believing that video games made people violent, and his bizarre campaign against that.
Well, I think Nixon was a bit of a lunatic.
Searing political commentary from InRetroSpect podcast.
Rapier-like. Swiftness.
Can you officially say you're a journalist in training? Can you say that Nixon's officially a lunatic?
No.
I
don't think so.
No. Okay.
That's why I qualified it with a bit of a lunatic.
That's it. Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah, allegedly a lunatic.
He's a bit of a racist.
Allegedly.
Not Nixon. I'm just saying in general,
It's defamatory to ever insinuate that someone is incompetent at their job, so yes.
Okay. Well,
do we know at what stage in the legal proceedings we're at with this? I'm trying to keep it on topic as much as I can.
I think they've just filed a what should we call it? Should we a friendly lawsuit? Just basically saying that they're
it's
worried
literally
about...
just come out. They tried to settle this quietly. Rockstar or 2K Interactive.
Yeah, it's 2K Interactive.
Yeah, 2K Interactive.
It's 2K Interactive because they own the image rights to Rockstar stuff.
They contacted the BBC on a number of occasions and with certain demands, and the BBC didn't answer or meet those demands. And the BBC's been quite silent on this matter, saying that it doesn't discuss legal matters such as this publicly. So I don't know what's happening really. A lot of the noise and chatter is coming from 2K's direction, really. Not from the BBC. So I don't know what's happening with this project, really. I don't know if that's going to affect the cast wanting to take on the project. I mean, I imagine a lot of the money and the backing was because of Daniel Radcliffe's involvement. So I don't know what would happen if they had to recast it. That's the kind of thing. I'm finding it tricky to kind of imagine Daniel Radcliffe as Sam Houser, I must admit.
I find it tricky imagining Daniel Radcliffe as anything, really.
All right, Sam, let's not get back onto that.
Jeez. Let it go, Sam. Nice little segue to our later.
Did he hurt you? Is that what is this what this is about?
I actually think Sam auditioned for the role of Harry Potter and has just been bitter ever since he didn't get it.
Well, moving on to copy Daniel Frost, moving on the topic to a more serious chat. I generally think that Rockstar at the moment are quite sensitive still about the whole violence in video games thing, because they obviously they've been very cautious over the kind of mods that have been released in GTA 5, and they've some users have been banned.
Yeah.
About the mods that they've been using. So I think that this is just another... Basically, I think in 2K's eyes, the BBC might be seen as raking over old dirt, and a documentary like this or a book can either lead to one thing, which is kind of making the wider general public more aware of the fact that there is violence in GTA, or
which I don't think anybody needs to make the public aware of. I think it's quite commonly thought of.
But you know what I mean? It brings it into the public consciousness again, and that might be something that Rockstar and 2K just kind of want to avoid.
It's tricky because the BBC have said that their kind of main agenda for doing this, as I said last month, was to create content that would get young people into coding. That's the kind of whole thing, to kind of, you know, get a kind of a snapshot of the games industry and kind of see how they could work in such an organisation. I don't know in terms of how they're going to deal with that tricky subject matter, because they can't avoid it, over the notion of violence in video games having a negative effect on young people. I don't know how they're going to engage with that. Personally, that's what I think. I mean, Rockstar should be kind of worried about, is how that debate is going to be kind of worked with, because even though it's from a particular point in history, it's still a pertinent theme that runs like through a stick of rock into a stick of Rockstar.
But
Wow.
nice.
Boom.
But is it not slightly ironic that this is a company who defeated Jack Thompson over, you know, freedom of speech charges, effectively, to then come along and squash the BBC for their right to talk about whatever they want? Like, isn't that slightly odd?
But we got to remember that this isn't Rockstar. This is 2K Interactive. So people at Rockstar might be fine with it, but the company that owns them is being largely protective.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I totally get it. And the simple way of getting around all of this, of course, is to simply not use any of the visual assets of Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah.
Because it is... it's covered under copyright law. This is a derivative work, I think it's called. Documentary is classed under derivative work, I think it is. So there's no issue here. It's just the visual side of things that they can't show. And I guess the BBC want to show, you know, Grand Theft Auto running.
Yeah, because presumably, like, it'd be one thing to not use any of the logo design or things like that, but they're going to want to see. You're going to want to really show kind of early footage of it, you know, when it was in its beta stage, that kind of thing. Because otherwise, it's just going to be a group of people talking in front of switched-off monitors, isn't it? Essentially. So I don't know really what the ins and outs of it are going to be. Really, it's not like what they're doing with Top Gear at the moment, because of Clarkson. You know, Hammond, Clarkson, and May are still able to go off and do their tour, but they just can't call it Top Gear anymore. It's essentially the fingerprints of Top Gear. It's the DNA of it, just without the name. You can't really do that, I don't think, with this documentary.
Interesting. I'm sure more details will be released as we know. As this thing might just end up being brushed under the carpet. But I'll tell you what is good. Search online for the BBC's first report with Rory Kettlin-Jones from the Rockstar Studios, just before when they were releasing like the first Grand Theft Auto game in the studios in Dundee. It is brilliant. It's brilliant, like BBC po-face reporting in like the 90s of, so you're making a video game? Oh,
brilliant.
You've got sounds in it and everything. Oh, you can drive a car. And it's wonderfully kind of like white middle-aged man goes to view an electronics company. And I like Rory Kettlin-Jones. I've worked with the man, but I just think it's the symptomatic of the age and the journalism style that working in that era where video games are still seen as very much a kind of, is this really news? It's
also that, you know, national TV has a bit of a problem, a bit of an identity crisis at the moment, in that for the longest time the BBC has been seen as this bastion of good reporting and all of that good stuff, and I think that's certainly true. But it's also that it doesn't really cater to its demographic is rapidly changing, and yet the types of things it covers doesn't change as rapidly. And the fact that the BBC was going ahead and doing this Grand Theft Auto documentary I think was like a really great step forward for that for the company. But now, you know, the fact that it's trying to do these things and it's had to take a step back, and you know that now there's legal ramifications and all that sort of stuff. It's really awful. It just makes me feel like that 2K kind of doesn't get it. It's almost like they as a company just don't understand how the creative process works and how people need to see this stuff so that we have another generation of coders and artists and sound designers that come through all of this sort of stuff. So I don't know.
I think it's really disappointing just for an audience who kind of are constantly wanting kind of video games to be more accepted on a kind of taken more seriously kind of in kind of mainstream media. And so in an occasion like this, when it is being kind of looked at and being made accessible to an audience, it's elements of the gaming industry that's actually stopping that and preventing that kind of evolution, which is, as an audience for us, it's really kind of disappointing.
I think you're absolutely right, Pete. I like this idea that there's no other documentary film like this in the world. Making a film about the making of a video game on the BBC, a TV movie of it. And they're taking it seriously. This could be a really interesting snowball that might start an avalanche of similar creative projects, really. Looking at the kind of the politics and the kind of the challenges that people face in creating games.
There is stuff like Video Games the Movie and Atari, the Death of Atari, and there are documentaries along those lines. But I think the really specific thing is that it's the BBC. It's not some niche
It's not some independent guy making a documentary.
Just because, I particularly like video games. Like, this is the BBC going, this is nationally, culturally important, and we feel we need to represent it and talk about it. And then the first company that they go to actually do this thing is like, nah.
Well, it's yet to really transpire whether this is really news or not, because it could just be a lawsuit that goes away. But anyway, Chris, good try. He's got a bad case of the Frosty D's. It's Peter Willington. He's going to pick the next headline.
Oh, I think we should probably go with... what's this one? I guess it's a Minecraft one.
What, When Steve Met Alex?
Yeah, what is that one?
Do people know what this is?
No.
I have no idea.
This is essentially Minecraft have introduced a female.
Is it Alex from Half-Life 2?
No, it's not Alex Vance.
It's like a Half-Life mod for Minecraft.
No, not a mod at all. This is something that Mojang have actually introduced themselves from April the 29th. A female character called Alex.
Cool.
I have actually heard of this, but does it change anything?
Yes. Apparently, it's got thinner arms, redder hair, and a ponytail.
It's really hard. Did you not know that it's really hard to animate female characters in video games?
Yes.
They've obviously been working on this for years.
Ubisoft, a big company. I mean, if they can't animate female characters,
they just can't.
Chris, I'm a huge fan of
really
Chris's
difficult.
gaming news, and so I would never want to take any opportunity to question any of the news stories.
But
I'm sure when we started playing Minecraft a couple of months ago, the female character was the default character that we started with.
No.
She had the green top and orange ginger hair.
Thrown down by.
I'm certain.
So does the model just look? Does it just look like? A woman?
It's so complicated. You wouldn't understand
Because there have been female skins for ages. So like. I don't understand what the difference is, really.
I think it's because the difference would be that
Chris researching away in the background. Come on.
Well, the default character must be a man.
because Dan maybe doubt myself then. Though it is an actual recent news story. I hadn't found a news story in the archives from years ago. No, apparently this is because I'm right with you, Dan. But I think that was a skin, whereas this is actually something that's actually changed it in terms of its actual polygon.
Because I'm not wrong when I think that when we started playing as a default female character, didn't we?
That was, at the risk of splitting hairs, that was essentially a male physique with a female skin.
Okay. Now I understand where I'm getting confused.
So that's essentially it, really.
So now then, if you reskin your character, does it just make a female version of whatever skin you've put on, or how does that work?
Good question. Can you be a female shark?
Because I've got a Flash skin on mine from. But if I put that on the female, would it become a female Flash?
I think so. Yes.
Have you really got a Flash one?
Yeah, I do.
Does it
but
take
also,
its mask
to
off
answer
all
Dan's
the time?
point, Dan, you're absolutely correct. the character of Alex already existed in the PC and Mac versions. This is the introduction of Alex to other formats as well.
Chris! Oh my God! You put so much
Chris
work
is
into those
gaming, not
headlines.
really news.
Chris is gaming news,
To be honest,
bringing you
I didn't think
headlines
you'd
from
pick that.
2014.
I didn't think you'd pick that. I thought you'd pick the one that was a little bit more intriguing, which was, are you trying to seduce me, Mrs. Wavebird?
Chris, first of all, I wanted the Wavebird one because Wavebird is the best controller ever invented for any game console.
True.
That's not.
But we'll never hear about that because that's the rules of Chris's gaming news. The
Brilliant.
ones we don't hear about are discarded and thrown away.
I want to know about Chris's archive that you mentioned. What's that?
The Chris archive where he just stores news and hopes that we'll pick other stories because he doesn't know anything about those stories.
I thought the end of Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Can I just say that we've got a great fan of the show. I live with her, so she kind of has to listen to it. But she said last month that we really picked on Chris. And I'm feeling really bad now for picking on him even more because... But
It's
can I
true.
just say in my defence that was an old news story that Chris Chris tarted up.
Is it that it's coming to consoles or something like that?
Yeah, it's coming to consoles.
Right.
It is an actual news story. It's just not a
Okay.
particularly exciting news story.
Okay. Well, I'm glad I picked that one
A bit
then.
like Turkey banning diamond
Great.
pickaxes or May banning diamond pickaxes.
Can we just ban Minecraft news from all future podcasts?
No, it's a popular game.
You know, but all that ever happens is women get created and Dan plays it.
Skybase.
I've been playing other games this month. I've been playing Far Cry 3 again. I'm keeping on top
Again?
of, modern gaming.
I'm on Far Cry 4, Dan.
Oh, well, show off.
Still playing Civ 5.
What am I playing that's got a number in it? Brothers, Tale of Two Sons. There you go. What are you playing that's got a
Still.
number in it? Pete?
I'm playing... oh, God. I don't know if I am playing anything with a number in it. Oh, God. I'm not very modern.
It's got to have... If it's going to be relevant, it's got to have a number in it. It's got to have a
It's got to
sequel.
have a number.
Surely you're
come-
playing an Assassin's Creed.
No, I've finished all of them now.
But Dan, they don't have numbers in them. So,
Yeah, that's
What do
it.
you mean Assassin's Creed 3?
well, after 3.
And
Oh, no.
Assassin's
Yeah,
Creed
Assassin's
7.
Creed 4, Black Flag.
Oh, it
Yeah,
is,
there's
but
no-
after then. But
That's
when it
it.
got really complicated, because I have to put women in it.
So between two,
How
three,
many
and four,
games have
no
there been,
numbers.
Pete?
How many have there been?
Yeah.
Well, including mainline
I'm
ones.
talking just mainstream ones.
So you got Assassin's Creed 2, Brotherhood, Revelations 3, Liberation HD 4, Freedom Cry, which became a standalone expansion, Unity, Rogue. I think 10.
And you played
main
all of
ones.
these?
Yeah, I've played all of those, and I've played the mobile games as well, and some of the portable ones.
Did you like the one in Asia? What was that one?
That's the side-scrolling one. No, I haven't played that one, and I won't be
Very
playing it because it doesn't particularly look very good.
I thought it looked pretty good.
I'm excited for the Victorian one.
Victoria.
Yeah,
With
Victory.
all those dead
whatever it's called.
London
Oh,
eyes.
it looks awesome.
I don't think it does. But then it's just a trailer for a game that is yet to be released. So
That isn't anywhere near completion.
yes, so we'll find out. Right, just to tell you that we will be discussing a little bit more gaming news later on in Dan's challenge. So if Chris's gaming news
Yay.
left you wanting a little bit more, then don't worry,
Which,
there will be
let's
some
face
coming
it,
up. Dan
No,
will
I've,
also
I've
be
enjoyed Chris's gaming news this month.
Can't believe you chose
Yeah.
that story.
first one, brilliant.
second
First
one.
one.
Can I
Second
also
one.
just say that the first one also was also a little bit recycled from last month's news, but I'll leave it there.
Yeah, stop picking on Chris.
Also, Dan will be touching us all with his musical choice to play out the show, and Chris has a chance for redemption in Chris's glitch of the month. But first, we are venturing literally into the mind of a Disney character as we play Elsa's brain surgery on free play. Dan, Daniel Frost, responsible for the utter shambles that has been Elsa's brain surgery. If you missed,
I think every single one of us and our listener would know that I am not responsible for this. The game was set up for this month.
It was,
and you decided for some reason that you would rather play one of these games instead of that. So the fault and blame lies squarely at your door, Mr.
I mean,
Samson.
Dan, let's look at the glass is half full. I think that visually it's a lot better than Anne Hathaway's erotic mouth explorer.
Mouthscape. So this is Elsa's brain surgery. It's from the website that also brought you Barbie's Baby Flu.
Oh.
And I think, were you playing another one?
I played Elsa's Skating Injury. Honest to God, that was the name of it.
Oh, right, and this is a website for kids. It's called dressuphoo.com. And so we played Elsa's brain surgery. Very quick synopsis for this. In fact, the freakiest thing about this game is unless you scroll down and pay attention, there is no context for what it is you're doing or why it is that you're doing it. But basically the context is that Elsa's got some stuff in her brain that you need to extract in order to make her the princess that she needs to be. What message that is sending to small girls, I do not know. Because it's not like bad things are in her brain, it's the carrot-nosed character.
Oh,
and
he was
sunglasses.
The carrot-nosed character. You can say snowman, Sam. It's not racist.
and there's like a princess crown in there and all of the bollocks. And so basically the idea is you got to extract.
And can I just say there are no bollocks in there?
Frosty D's.
Just to confirm.
There are no Frosty D's.
It is a kids' game.
You say it's a kids' game, Dan, but this is my biggest problem with Elsa's brain surgery. It's the fact that very little context is given to the reason why you shave off a character's hair, inject her, take her blood, basically cut her head open, use a scalpel to extract foreign objects, and then sew her up. And
you don't sew her up, you use a carrot.
Yeah,
so you use a carrot, you just drag it down the middle of her brain.
So there is one question that I want to ask you all, because we all know it's a terrible game. We all know that it's used up time which would be better spent doing things like
anything.
Breathing.
Literally anything else.
Doing news research.
I want to ask you, why? Why does this game exist? Why have people spent time doing... I mean, the best thing I could think about, and this is quite a morbid thought, the best reason I thought about this game would be maybe you'd point this game into a direction of a small child whose mother is maybe going in for some brain surgery. And I thought maybe that's the only reason this game exists. But even then, that is a stupid and utterly, pardon the pun, benign thought.
Oh, God.
So, why, Dan? Why does Elsa's brain surgery exist?
It's fairly easy. The reason why this game exists is because the mechanics of this game are super easy to make. They are super easy to understand, and anyone of any age can do them. So the aim of the game, it's your very standard surgery type games that you get where you have to cut in a certain line that's usually dotted, and it's all guided all the way through. And so it's a very easy game to make. You don't have to put
a collection of mini games.
Yeah, you don't have to put a lot of work into it. It's not like a platformer where you have different mechanics and different kind of mechanics and like kind of gravity to worry about, anything like that. You don't have to worry about anything. So they have a skeleton, no pun intended, of a game, and they just say, okay, it needs to be for kids. Let's just throw the face of a Disney character on it. So they throw in the most popular Disney character at the moment, which is Elsa from Frozen. Done. Game. Moving on. Now let's put her in a skating accident. Let's do that. And that's all it is. It's just super easy to make.
It's
and it's
an
a
exercise.
game that a kid will play. There's no other reason for it.
It's an exercise in search engine optimization for Flash video games.
Yeah.
Without technically breaking any sort of copyright rules, because actually, so the actual name of the game is Elsa's Frozen Brain Surgery, I think it's called. or Elsa Frozen Brain Surgery. Yeah, Elsa Frozen Brain Surgery. And the idea is that there are frozen bits in her brain, so you can get away with saying, you know, that there's brain surgery of frozen bits that you have to do, and the character looks a little bit like Elsa from Frozen, and you know, it's a really quick and easy way of making a whole bunch of games, as Dan says, really simply, and then just hoping that Google picks you up, that and that whenever, you know, somebody types in Elsa Frozen Flash game into Google, that they end up on your website. You know,
it just leaves the child next to the computer and just walks off, and the kids.
So you think
with it.
The reason this game exists is because they thought, right, we need to make as many Elsa Frozen games.
Sam,
Yes.
Do you remember
Yes.
the Kit Kat advert that played before the video game?
Yeah.
I think that was the reason why the video game
But
exists.
Yes.
but the thing is, just like, so if people are searching it, if you've made 10 Elsa Frozen games, if someone types in Elsa Frozen games, you're probably not going to get at the top list. But if you've made 100 or 1,000, of which I think there actually are, it's more likely that your game is going to, and people are probably going to be more inclined to play Dress Up Elsa rather than cutting a head open.
Cut her head up,
So-
shave her head, and cut it.
If you walked in, Dan, you're the closest out of all of us to having kids. If you walked into your kid playing this game, what would you think?
Well, to be fair, looking at it, it's not really all that gruesome. So there's not an element of that. Like you got with surgery games, often there can be elements of gore in it. It's all, in theory, the head is cut open by magic. It's a bit weird that you have to shave a head. I'm not gonna lie, that's a bit odd. When you look inside the brain, there are just little characters there that when you take out, there's like a colourful splodge of paint underneath. So there's none of this stuff is actually kind of, you would say, graphically or visually adult. Anything other than bright colours. And to solve it, you have to rub a magic sponge or something over it, and they start to fade away. That is it. Everything is done in a sense that there's it's very, 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 very child friendly, every aspect of it. The only parts that would have bothered me would have been probably the shaving of the head and the knives that you have to pull out to get the stuff out of the brain. That's the only things that would have made me go, "Ooh, that's weird." But
so to add further evidence to this this theory that it's a completely commercially made, commercially driven game, right? I typed in Elsa Frozen games and clicked on the number one link that comes up on Google search. The game's website that I've returned is frozengames.org/Elsa-games, which is not affiliated with Disney in any way. And it is full, and I mean stacked, with games featuring Elsa, unofficial games which feature the character of Elsa from Disney. Now, what kind of games would you expect to see on here? Well, Pregnant Elsa Spa, Elsa Eye Treatment, Elsa Nose Problems.
That could be anything though with a nose.
Oh my God, Dan, I'm going to change Challenge Dan right now. I'm changing what we're playing next month.
There's so many Pregnant Elsa Eye Care. There's a lot of Pregnant Elsa stuff, I'm telling you right now.
What's the pregnancy got to do with her eyes?
Well, so who knows? But the point
is that carroted nose in one.
Yeah.
Up to no good.
But the point is that they are weird, and they do, they're weird, but there's so many of them that, that's how these people get to the top of the Google ranks, and people play it, and there's adverts on them, and it's a completely commercially driven.
I think that Sam's question aside, I think the real question is, why would people play this, if you see what I mean? It's not just because of the Frozen, it's not because of Elsa being there. I think there's a sense that for some people, I could imagine it would give them a sense of agency, of authority, that they have some sense of power or status in this particular narrative. Because taking Dan's points, it's actually essentially quite a harmless title. I mean, obviously this is an audio medium. Our listener isn't going to really understand what this looks like until they go out and play it, and the link will be on our site. It's not as sinister as I thought it would be. It's almost like a game of
really sinister.
Yeah, but have you played the game Operation when you were a child? You're pulling bones out of
Operation has at least got some context. True. Like
I didn't. You're operating on somebody. Don't hit the wires, otherwise his nose goes off. I mean, how
I disagree with you there, Chris, when you say that you feel that it gives the person a sense of agency, because it doesn't. Because all you're doing is an arrow literally points at the tool that you need to use next. You click it, it automatically does the job for you.
But it's reacting to your input, though. It wouldn't do anything unless you.
But you get nothing.
Yeah, but a DVD reacts to you pressing play. That's not agency.
But for some people, that's enough because they can have, their home cinema. There's a sense of control there, and I'm using these words very loosely here, but I imagine some people must get some kind of fix over this.
I think it's a sexual one, Chris.
Yeah, no,
really?
I'm completely with you. There's something deeply Freudian about
Shave
this.
Her head.
Something deeply Freudian.
Shave me.
I completely agree.
Shave me.
But but the fact that you've got stuff like pregnant Elsa, the fact that you've got these invasive surgery things.
What's the other one called?
Anna.
Oh, there is a Spank Anna.
Oh, right, okay.
Look, we're not usually every year with free play at Christmas we do a Christmas game, and I have found that in the deep recesses of the internet there are some extremely horrible video games, and I think any area of the internet and types of games you will find these games. So with Frozen you will find these horrible games, and I don't think this is a horrible game. I think it's a terrible game. I don't think it's a horrible game. I think it's a game made for 6-year-old girls, and I don't think you could look at it any further than that, really. I think some of the elements like that I mentioned before, like with the use of knives and stuff, is probably just left over from a standard template that they had to make the game. I don't look at it any more than I don't need a context for it, because I think it doesn't need a context. It is what it is, and I really don't think there's just much else to it other than it being a game for 6-year-old girls, and it's not trying to be anything other than that. And I think it's not trying to be a good game for 6-year-old girls, as Tom, as you said, it walks you through every single step of it. It's not like a tutorial which then leaves you on your own from start to finish. It says pick A, do B, pick C, do D, and it goes through the entire game like that until you get to the point where it says, "Do you want to replay?"
But the thing that I don't really understand is because I don't think even a 6-year-old would find this fun. There's literally it's just pressing a mouse button.
But I think you're downplaying how exciting just interacting with different franchises that you love can be, right? Like for a child, any old garbage, and I mean a child, like any old garbage with Frozen on is what you want.
Right, Pete. Right, hang on. Here's a scenario for Percival. Right, you get Barry Allen Flash.
Right.
Brain surgery.
Right.
Franchise that you and I both love.
Yep, definitely.
You get to open up Barry Allen's. You get to take off his mask.
Do I get to take off his mask? Was going to be my very first question.
Well, he does that anyway during every single show because he's a fucking idiot.
Yes, he is.
But
Barry Allen.
You get to take it off for him.
Yeah.
And inside his head, he's got the wheelchair man.
You know his name.
Cisco, skid marks, the guy on the wheelchair, and the flame one, and the guy who likes pizza. And you're interacting with a franchise you like.
Right, yeah, okay. I can see that. But still, God, no.
And the faster you do it, the higher your points.
So the 6-year-old girl Googles Frozen game, right? Then she gets this or one or the other one. Then when she presses it, you have to watch the 30-second advert for Kit Kat or whatever. Did they just want her to watch the Kit Kat advert and say, "Mum, I want a Kit Kat"? Is that the whole?
Yeah. Well, no, they don't care whether or not somebody buys the Kit Kat. They just want the ad to play.
Right. Okay. Right.
Because that's
what drives the money. And if they can take all of these surgery games and reskin them with popular characters every other week or whatever it is, brilliant. You're basically just creating a very SEO friendly a Flash games portal.
If you were to give a 6-year-old girl a game
Someone has to
about
make that.
generic female character brain surgery, they wouldn't be interested. You give them Frozen's Elsa's brain surgery, and they're interested.
Yeah.
The game's exactly the same. They don't care about the actual game, but it's Frozen, and they will eat up every little morsel of it because that's the film. That's the behemoth of Frozen, and that's why this game exists. That's why, as you say, there are thousands of games like this because kids want it, and so they think, okay, well, if we make these, we can add ads, we can make money from this. This is kind of zero kind of amount of money to actually make these games because we're not doing anything substantial. We're not really having to put any development into this, but we can get money out of this from ads and advertising and just getting kids to play it.
Well, if you want to play this game, you can follow the link on our website, InRetroSpectPodcast.com. It's interesting. We thought that Elsa's brain surgery probably wouldn't ignite such a discussion that it has, so we prepared another game. You may know that the beta is finished. I think the game's actually it's out now.
So it's in public beta?
No, it's not, Peter. It is out now. It is out now. It's released now.
Well.
So you can play.
So are we going to be playing a game that's not free?
But no, it is free.
Oh, it still remains free. Okay.
Oh my god! Well, this didn't work as well as I hoped. Why don't people trust me that the game is out now and you'll be able to play it for free if you go to battle.net? We have been playing though, previous to its launch on June the 2nd for free. We have been playing Heroes of the Storm via battle.net. We got some beta codes because of our love for Hearthstone. So we're going to be playing this more in depth on next month's show, but I guess it's a chance just to air some of our first impressions for this brand new MOBA which is on the scene. It's going to go head to head with Dota. As I mentioned, I saw Chris at the weekend because we were wearing the same clothes, and we had some wonderful Lebanese food in Liverpool. You summed up Heroes of the Storm in one condensed sentence. Your first impressions of the beta before release. What do you think?
I said it reminded me of World of Warcraft in as done by Free Realms.
Really?
Mm.
Huh.
So what do you mean by that? Do you mean like a cartoony or a kiddie World of Warcraft?
Quite cartoony, actually.
There is some evidence that backs up your claim. The fact that the guy who looks, and you'll know this, Percival, the guy who looks like a Warhammer character, Space Marine.
Okay.
Do you know his name?
There are plenty of characters in World of Warcraft.
In World of Warcraft, he always has a cigar, but they had to remove the cigar to get the age rating that they wanted.
Oh.
StarCraft.
So I think in a way, probably Chris's critique holds up, that it has been slightly made child friendly. And personally, my first impressions of it is a friendly MOBA. Very
I would have said
play.
it's Free Realms meets Dota rather than World of Warcraft, because I would say it is a bit more friendly. We've played Dota before, and I've really struggled with it. However, I think the tutorial and the setup and teaching how to play the game with Heroes of the Storm is much better, and I'm fully understanding exactly what I'm meant to be doing and why I'm meant to be doing it, which is not something I've had with previous MOBAs, where the explanations and introductions haven't been very clear, and it's kind of assumed you have a knowledge of it beforehand, whereas this game doesn't assume you have any knowledge, and so it goes through it step by step very clearly. And I'm actually really intrigued to play it with you guys and to play it further, because it seems like a game that I understand a lot more than others have in the past.
See, that seems really interesting, because obviously we've played Dota, and I must confess, with my own real-life work right now, I haven't had a chance to play Heroes of the Storm. So I'm really intrigued about finding out quite what it's like, whether it was like Dota. Because when we played Dota, I think all of us, at least initially, struggled sort of with tactics and how it works. And it was a really sort of difficult experience, and it put me off MOBAs, if I'm completely honest, quite a bit, because I felt everyone is so much better than me. They know the tactics. They know who they want to play as. And it was just something that I don't know. I didn't enjoy it much. Besides the interactions with you lot, it was a difficult game.
Yeah, Dan only working out half an hour in that left click was to attack. So Pete, just to round off this very brief discussion about the game that we're going to be playing, that we have been playing the closed beta before it has been now officially released. Do you think then this is maybe the direction that Blizzard are going with Heroes of the Storm, that it maybe is a bit more of an accessible MOBA for those that are maybe put off a bit more by Dota?
So Blizzard, traditionally as a company, try to make games that go against the grain of everything else. So when everybody was moving away from strategy games, StarCraft was doubling down, ultra hardcore, full on, esports-esque strategy game. With Dota and League of Legends and games like Smite and some other, Vainglory, these other MOBAs, I think the big criticism of all of them is how difficult they are to get into and how inaccessible they are for most players. With Heroes of the Storm, I definitely feel like I'm being eased in constantly. I feel like it's not letting me access the multiplayer without actually putting in a whole bunch of time first. It doesn't want me to get into tournaments and competitions. It wants you to spend a whole bunch of time so that you get accustomed to your characters and know how the game plays, so that you can then be competitive and actually have a fun time when you finally get into it. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I would say so. That's definitely where they're going with this stuff.
Do you not think it's interesting though, like when we spoke about Hearthstone and we said really it was a dumbed down version of Magic, which is to do Hearthstone a disservice, but that's sort of like what Blizzard do now.
Well, it interests me about like Dan's reaction to this, because his reaction was Magic was the introductory level was too high for him. That put him off. But whereas Hearthstone eased him in, and therefore he's got a chance to enjoy the game. And exactly the same was his approach to Dota. Too high sort of introductory learning curve for him, put him off. But yet Heroes of the Storm seems to be playing it at just the right speed for him. So as a sample in a petri dish, Dan is the person that we should all be following. So you can download Heroes of the Storm for free now. I will put a link up on our website, InRetroSpectPodcast.com. But you all know it's at battle.net, so I shouldn't really try to force you to go through something that you don't want to go through. So yeah, battle.net. Guys, what do you want next? Do you want Chris's Glitch of the Month, or do you want Challenge Dan?
Challenge Dan.
Challenge Dan.
Challenge Dan. Challenge Dan.
Well, they said, challenge me.
Challenge Dan. Challenge Dan. Challenge Dan. Challenge Dan is a brand new feature of the show, which I didn't run past the features editor, Chris Darby, who I should just mention has glitched out totally. He's gone from the internet. We don't know where he's gone.
Oh.
He's gone dark. So we'll try and get him back before the end of the show. If we don't, we don't. All we're missing is Chris's Glitch of the Month, and to be honest, he's given us the best glitch he could have given us.
He's the glitch that keeps on glitching.
He's a glitch that keeps on glitching. We've still got Touch of Frost coming up and Challenge Dan. So we'll just pad out Challenge Dan to fill the time, really. So Challenge Dan, we're going to challenge Dan. Yeah. We're going to quiz him based around a news story that's hit this month in gaming. The biggest news story, I think, is the way that previous people who have been screwed over by the man, big game publisher man, and not being allowed to make the games that they wanted to, are kicking back on Kickstarter. And parts of the studio of Rare have come back, and they've made Yooka-Laylee. One of the brilliant creative minds behind Castlevania, Koji Igarashi, has come back with Bloodstained Ritual of the Night and is proving that people want to play these games. So I thought, let me give Dan 4 Kickstarter projects. 3 of them, Dan, are real. 1 of them I've made up. You've got to try and hunt out the false Kickstarter project.
Brilliant.
Are they just video game projects?
No. These are all across the board of Kickstarter stuff. Okay? So Dan, as usual, you can call in Percival and Peter to help you. The only thing that Percival knows is he's chosen the order that I'm going to read these at. Mm-hmm. He doesn't know anything about whether these are true or false, even though he's in the room with me. I think what we'll do is we'll total up whether you get things wrong or right over the course of, say, several months, as long as I can bear to do this, really. And then you'll have a prize or a forfeit at the end of it. So, Here is your first Kickstarter project. Is it real or is it fake, Dan? Bear this in mind. This one's called In-Store Trip Planner. It had a Kickstarter goal of $50,000. This is the brief thing of In-Store Trip Planner. You fill your grocery list at home. Upon entering the store, the app gives you the fastest route based on your shopping list completed. The benefits are you do not have to search. You no longer run crisscrosses through the shop, and you only get what you came to come. You only get there which you come. Sorry,
What is happening here?
I don't think it meant that. Your time gain will be enormous. So the idea of this app, Dan, I'll briefly summarise it for you.
Jesus.
In-store trip planner for €50,000, which is Kickstarter goal. Basically, it's an app. You put into the app what you want from a grocery store, and it gives you the map of where to go in the grocery store to get your stuff, and gives you a plan.
And where is this based?
This is an American thing because it says grocery store. So, but it's like for any supermarket, which is why it's 50,000. 50,000. So the idea is you go, oh, I want sausages, salad, crisps, chips, and fizzy pop, and so basically it'll tell you which aisle to go down first, so you're picking things up in order rather than going to the pop first, which is always at the back end of the store, and working your way back to the salad, and then you go, oh, I really wanted sausages, so you have to go back. That's the idea of the app. Okay. You got that? All right, okay.
Yeah.
Next one. This is called the Streaker. Has a goal of $2,500. Here is the blurb. Are you tired of your heroes wearing spandex and high-tech suits? Maybe it's time for you to believe in a butt-naked hero, the Streaker. In the dark he glows, to the touch he burns. If you see him, keep eye contact and don't look down. Something naked this way comes. The Streaker is forced to join a nudist colony to hide the fact that clothing burns off his skin. So the Streaker, right, is a comic book series called The Streaker, and that's the premise, that it's a naked superhero. $2,500. Is that a real Kickstarter campaign, Dan, or is it false? Okay. Number 3, the World Speed Project. Also $2,500. It's the goal of the World Speed Project, TM, to obtain every available VHS copy of the hit 1994 action/adventure film Speed, starring Keanu Reeves, Sandra Bullock, Dennis Hopper, Jeff Daniels, and Joe Morton.
Brilliant.
Okay. The other thing that the World Speed Project are doing, not only collecting every obtainable VHS of the copy of the hit 1994 action/adventure film Speed, but they're also converting a bus to look like the bus out of Speed. It's one of their stretch goals of the World Speed Project.
What can anyone get out of that? Besides themselves owning
every single VHS copy of Speed.
Yeah.
And the last one, Dan, is the Hoover Magnet. This one's a little bit more, $20,000. It's a magnet application for all modern cyclonic Hoovers. Never lose precious objects again or do damage to the inside of your expensive household cleaning equipment. This can attract things like hair grips, coins, and other precious magnetic items. So the idea is, if you've left stuff on the floor, when you hoover stuff up... Hoover stuff up, things get attracted to the inside, so it's not clogging stuff up.
Dan, do you remember what game we played while we were waiting for your train? That one time.
No, hang on. No. First of all,
shit's invention.
First of all, right. Dan.
Yeah.
Dan gets to consult first, and if he wants to, Percival, he can come to you or Pete. He doesn't have to use your help.
Okay.
Talk through your process. Which one of those do you think is a false Kickstarter project?
Well, if I just first go through my kind of process of where I think kind of it might go. Firstly, I think the Speed Project one, I think sounds like it could be real, so I'm going to discount that one. Okay. That sounds like something someone would do.
Really?
What was the second one?
The second one was The Streaker, the comic book series about a guy who is forced into a nudist colony because the fact that clothing burns off his skin.
Okay, now that could be you because I know you're a fan of comics, but I do think that the other two are more likely to be false. So I'm also going to put that one to one side for the moment. So the grocery store one, that's an American company. How much was that one for?
That's $50,000. They're all in dollars. They're all in dollars.
Okay.
Well, I'll just make this easy for you. They're all American companies. I made mine American.
Okay. So for me, it's between the grocery store and the Hoover magnet. The Hoover magnet does theoretically sound like something that could work.
Of course it could. Makes sense.
I'd just like to throw this open to the board. Firstly, to both Pete and to Tom, the two that I've discounted, the comic book and the Speed project. Do either of you guys think that's the fake one?
I know that the Speed project is real.
Okay, brilliant.
I think the nude one. I think that's false. That's got to be false, surely. Right?
Well, I don't know.
No.
Comics do some weird stuff.
To the touch, he burns.
I can see someone thinking that that's a really clever concept.
Me.
No one's ever come up with.
Me.
Yeah,
No,
true.
I've played this game far too many times.
Okay, so I'd like to, Tom, ask you about the magnet Hoover-based gadget. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, let's just look back at some of Sam's other inventions, right? A cereal bowl you can drain milk out of. What was your
Very
other one?
handy. I don't really think I want to talk about
You
them.
parachute on an aeroplane.
Yeah, parachute plane.
No. Do you remember this, Dan?
Oh, yeah, this is where you were going to insert parachutes onto a plane.
And then that
So when
would
it was
save
crashing,
them.
you could release them and it would basically rip the plane apart.
Still a great
It's a
idea.
rubbish idea.
It's gourmet McDonald's.
I'm going to be honest
It's
with you.
Danny Dyer dryers.
Danny Dyer dryers is the worst idea anyone has ever had.
Right, okay, can I just explain this concept to Peter briefly?
Go on.
They're dryers, clothes horses, in the shape of famous London landmarks, and they're called Danny Dyer dryers.
Pete, right, can you just tell him how wrong he is? Just no.
It's just wrong because it's got nothing to do with Danny Dyer.
Also,
like,
if you're
He's
going to
from London.
go down that route, you call them Danny Dryers.
yeah,
That would be
exactly.
better.
Stop it. It's gourmet McDonald's,
Gourmet McDonald's is an even worse idea.
and then there's gourmet. There's
When Lisa listens to this, she's going to hear this and be like, Gourmet McDonald's, Sam, really?
You said this on a public in a public space.
I think
okay.
that...
Can I just say, generally, one of these Kickstarter things I had the idea for, and now it's actually being done.
Right.
So
The Magnet Hoover is is a Sam classic. It's got Sam written all over it, solving
Yeah,
a problem
yeah.
that doesn't exist.
yeah.
Okay, so I'm in... Pete, where do you fall between... If you were to pick between grocery store and Magnet Hoover...
Oh
It
god,
sounds like a Sam invention.
what a list.
Stick a magnet on a Hoover.
Yeah, I think that's going to probably be Sam's.
See, the problem I have is... There's two parts to my thinking might be the grocery store one. One is the fact that when Sam first said it, he said it was 50,000 euros. He then changed it to dollars, which made me think it wasn't real. Secondly, in my mind, even if it's in America, around America, you've got 50,000 superstores probably. You've probably got another
Facts
50,000.
there, a Dan fact. In America, you got 50,000 superstores feeding 300 million people.
Let me finish. Superstores, then another 100,000 smaller stores, and then probably another.
Jesus Christ, Dan. Go on.
My thinking is that an app that only needs $50,000, how can it know what every single store's layout is?
The stores are homogenous. They're all the same.
No, they're not.
It's not true. Aldi is a very...
They're not. You've got all different brands, all
We
different
just have the Aldi
places,
expansion. That's
all
how you make your
different
money.
locations.
God, this one sounds like a new idea as well.
So I think on that basis, I think, as stupid as it is, I think the magnet one makes sense. Having a magnet in the Hoover would attract the metallic items and would protect it. That makes sense.
Dan's had your advice. Dan's had your advice.
Fine.
Okay. Pete, shh. This is Dan all on his own.
All right.
Dan, which one is the fake Kickstarter?
Well, the problem I have now is the fact that you're trying to shut Tom up so much.
No, just
And
generally
I
just
think
because
Tommy's
of time.
trying to get. I think
I've got
Tommy's
turkey
trying to get me
burgers
to go down
cooking.
the magnet Hoover.
What's
route.
the what happens to Dan if he gets it wrong?
Well, we'll build them up.
We still not.
There's a forfeit. But we still won't play Football Manager until Dan gets on right. We won't play Championship Manager.
Okay, so Pete, out of the 4, what?
No, Dan,
you didn't specify how many questions I could ask. I can ask as many as I want.
I said that their time is over. Do you want me to take Touch of Frost away from you?
You never decided that. I'm asking the question. Pete, of the 4, which would you choose and why? Sell it to me.
Well, I would choose the magnet one because that one clearly sounds sensible.
So that's the
relatively
fake
sensible
one.
Yeah, it's got to be.
So you think it's fake because it sounds sensible?
Yeah.
Okay. Tom, what's the fake and why?
I think it's Magnet Hoover. I just think that's a Sam invention. I swear I've heard it before. And I think as well, the problem with it is that like, coins aren't magnetic, are they?
They are. They were.
They are.
I think you'll find that coins were made magnetic in about 1998 when the price of the metals that were used to make coins got so high, so they had to put steel in them. So therefore, coins are magnetic.
You learned something new.
Well, there we go. Maybe there's proper research behind this Kickstarter project.
There could be. But there's not been. Right down.
You know what? I made a mistake last month, and I went against the group consensus. So you know what? I'm not going to make that mistake this month. I'm going to go with the Hoover Magnet. My heart is telling me go grocery store, but my head made a mistake last time, so I'm going to go with the Hoover Magnet.
All right, locked in. Hoover Magnet. We'll start with the streaker first. $2,500. That is a real Kickstarter project.
Yeah, I thought so.
No, I've backed it.
I've tweeted about it before. The World Speed Project probably is the best thing on Kickstarter. They did actually get their goal of $2,500, and they also got their stretch goals to turn the van into a replica of the bus, filled from the inside of VHSs, of every single VHS copy of the 1994 action/adventure film Speed. So it is, as you said, between the House Magnet, the Hoover Magnet, and the in-store planner. And I can tell you that, Dan, you've done the right thing by following your head and picking the Hoover Magnet, which indeed is an invention from my own fair mind. but can I also say that in conversations with all of you, I have said, there should be an app that makes a map of where you go around a shopping market. And
that can't work.
It can work because all supermarkets basically have a homogenized plan. All Tesco's are the same, all Asda's are the same from each other. So you just get their plans from the supermarket people, and you say, I'm
the supermarket people.
I'm going around. Tesco is not laid out the same way as a big superstore.
I like the way, Dan, that you're arguing with Sam when actually someone else is doing this.
The Department of Supermarket People.
And in America. So well done, Dan. You're correct. So on the month of your choice, we get to play Championship Manager, which we all know is a punishment for all of us.
What have we done?
To be fair, I don't even want to play Championship Manager. The iOS version's terrible.
Right, Dan, if you get 5 challenge Dans correct, I will buy you a present of up to £5 in value.
Oh, wow.
That sounds pretty good.
So basically, I get £1 for a gift, and I can cash it in at any point.
In fact, if he gets the next 5 in a row, then that would be Christmas, and you do the £5 challenge anyway.
Stop it, Tom! That's my best idea yet. Brilliant. So, Dan, as always, we're going to be finishing off the show. Apologies if you're looking for glitch of the month. Chris has performed the biggest glitch and glitched out. But we will finish, as always, with a touch of frost. So, what are you touching us with today in a touch of frost, Dan?
Where did he touch you?
This is a touch of frost.
Well, this month, it's actually one specially. I picked it out especially for Pete. I thought you might like this one. You can find this on the ocremix.org website. You can also find them online. The composers for this one is 3 people. It's Kenta Nagata, Shinobu Tanaka, and Toru Minigishi. And this is a remix from Animal Crossing and Comrade KK.
Wonderful. Well, this has been the In Retrospect podcast, a monthly show about video games. I've been Sam Turner. Sitting alongside me has been Thomas Percival. Briefly, we had Chris Darby joining us on the show, Daniel Frost, as well as Peter Willington. So all that remains to be said is that you can download the show via iTunes, Stitcher Radio, all the details of which, and indeed the quick way of doing it, are all available on our In Retrospect podcast site, which now has merchandise. So if you want to drink tea or other beverages from inside an In Retrospect mug whilst wearing an In Retrospect t-shirt, you can now do that. We have mugs and merchandise.
We have mugs.
So buy them all up, and we will love you for it. That's in retrospectpodcast.com. But for now, this has been us. Enjoy Heroes of the Storm, Battle.net, and we'll be back next month for another show. Bye-bye.